Awesome. That should be us live. Welcome to another Besides and On podcast. We're on video now. Yes. So, we've got a wee guest this week, Marie Fagan. We're going to bring her in a wee while. We've got a co-host we're going to bring in right now. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you liking this format? This is cool, though.
This is new. It's a bit fancy.
Aye. I'm liking it, though. I'm liking it. It's cool.
I thought I was gone were the days that I was staring at my face on a computer screen, but here we are.
And it's just the same face all the time. There's no movement, and it's really hard to watch sometimes, I feel.
Yeah. Should have just held up a picture.
That's one of the things that I kept hearing from people was that to get video stuff done, a lot of people are kind of like bored with just sort of putting stuff on the background. I know some folk like that, maybe put a podcast on the car and stuff, but I also prefer the video side of things as well. I just didn't have the internet speed, but now we do, and we're ready to roll. So this is cool, liking it.
Yeah,
it's and great. You didn't travel doing like all the way to the bottom of Kennaway.
No.
The far lands.
I'm liking your fancy wallpaper. That's cool.
This is wallpaper that needs to be changed. it's really terrible. I will get rid of it. I'll get some graffiti stuff up there, I think, at some point.
It's much more exciting to look at than my boring calendar. So
It's a really, really sexy calendar, Rachel. I'll give you that. It's cool. It's cool. I like it.
I
So
mean, it's
we're
colour
live
coded.
right now. That's it. You're a busy person as well, so there's loads of stuff. My calendar's like pretty much just weekends filled up. That's some of them.
Busy enough.
That's it. That's it. There you go. Right. So I think what we'll do is bring Marie in.
Yes.
Hello, Marie.
Hello.
We're sitting calmly on the side there.
How you doing?
How you feeling? How you feeling?
Good. Excited.
Good. You good?
Good.
I love that you explained you were getting a wee bit stressed out about this. But your job ensures so much stressful work.
We don't see that. We just got on with it, though. That's the thing.
I know. That's it. Well, we've got you on to sort of talk about your TikTok channel and stuff like that. We'll show a wee clip. I don't know if Rachel's seen some stuff for the channel. You been on it?
Oh, aye.
The whole weekend, just air it.
Hope you liked it, Rachel.
Oh, aye. I can't get enough of it.
I first started getting into it. There's another channel. They're like a bunch of American folk that like in LA. They've got like a crime scene cleaning channel, and that's kind of why I got into the idea of maybe getting somebody from Scotland that done this, and this is how we had Marie, and we've had Marie on the podcast before. I thought it'd be a good guest to start off with, and it was perfect timing. You basically got in touch the day before I decided we're getting ready to start the podcast again, so that was perfect timing, Marie.
Brilliant. Good.
There you go. And perfect person to start off with the first live podcast as well, so awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Returning guest. So, Marie, could you explain a wee bit to the listeners, viewers, whatever? We'll put an audio version out of this as well. So I should say before we start, we're live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter at the same time right now. So wherever you're listening, if you leave a comment, you'll be able to ask questions. To hopefully Marie, you could ask questions about my wallpaper, Rachel's calendar, like whatever you want to find out. So, mainly, hopefully, for Marie's stuff. So, and of course, this will be available afterwards as well. So, Marie, could you explain what made you get into this mad line of work, please?
It was really off the TV. I used to see like CSI Miami and stuff, and everybody in the family would be wondering who was the killer, and I would be wondering who was cleaning the blood, and just thought there's a market out there I would really like to do that. So 15 years ago, I went and done the training, and that's been it.
I guess it's something a lot of us didn't really think about. We sort of just assume that the police are going to take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
Is there sort of inside police, like a cleaning company, or do they just sort of contact you guys?
Right. So there will be people that live the Police Scotland contract, but that's like 24/7, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It's huge. However, a lot of people have got a misconception of somebody dies in the house, they've not been discovered, the police automatically, the council automatically deal with it. It's not the case at all. It's down to the family. And that's when a lot of them contact us. And it's a shame because a lot of them, it's the first time it's ever happened. They don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do. They don't even know that a company that has existed. So hence why I like to do this, to let people know that we are available and we are available to help. It's not just the death scenes and stuff. We do a lot of hoarder work as well. We do a lot of that. Work a lot with people with mental health and stuff. So there's loads, needle sweeps. Like we do a lot of office blocks where maybe there's been homeless people in their fire exits or whatever. And they don't know where to turn. So we do a lot of that work as well.
So there's no real like turn up and clean my cooker sort of things, like using any of that kind of stuff?
Not really, no.
Yeah. Unless it's a really, really dirty cooker. No.
Unless it's really dirty. Well, a lot of the jobs we do, the cookers are really, really dirty, so we do clean them.
So you mentioned that you had to go to training for it, and I think there's so much misconceptions around a job like yours, Marie. Tell us what type of training you had to do.
So my training was 15 years ago, so although they're still doing the training, there's loads more out there now. I had to go to Bristol. I'm not sure that there's some in Scotland yet. I think you still need to go down south, but there's loads out there now, all different ones. So yeah, and training is good. You've got your certificate. If you've not got a clue what you're going into, it does give you a lot of insight. But the best training is actually out on the field. You learn more and more and more each job. That's the best experience you can have. However, I would advise you get the training. You know what jags to get to keep yourself. You know the correct products to use to keep yourself safe. PPE, all of that, because you're going into all these body fluids and you've no idea what if the person had something or not.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really careful. And obviously you've got to dispose of it properly and all that. So you need to get a contract you need to get a yellow bin, you need to get a clinical bin and get a contract, and they come, empty your bin and take it for incineration. There's a lot of misconception about that as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering that if you're able to just sort of start that kind of cleaning business and then do the sort of crime scene cleaning course and stuff, or do you have to have all that done first, have certificates and stuff before you get
Aye.
That stuff?
You need to have it all set up. You need to have all your equipment. You need to have your bin. Otherwise, you're cleaning up and you've nowhere to dispose of it. So before you kind of go live, if you like, you need to be well prepared. Right. A lot of people as well spend tens of thousands of pounds because they think that this is going to be amazing, because it does sound amazing and it can be sold as amazing, but I've got another aspect to a cleaning company, because there's 80% in other cleaning and there's 20% in the biohazard cleaning, because it's when you're required. It's all phone work. You can't predict when somebody's going to die or drop a needle or so you do need maybe people do make a living like full time out it, but not us. We might get 1 or 2 jobs a week, we might get 10 jobs a week, we might not get a job for a month.
Right. So it's quite sporadic then.
Yeah. So January, February is always busy.
Yeah. Is that because of the increase in mental health issues and things like that?
Definitely. There's always an increase in suicides these January, February. Sometimes October, November. But you get them all throughout the year. I don't mean that, but they do spike this time of year.
Yeah.
And undiscovered. And during COVID, there was loads of undiscovered because people thought people were isolating.
Yeah.
Papers and stuff.
Aye.
When they hadn't seen people, they just thought, oh, they're isolating, when actually they hadn't been.
Yeah. God, that's quite frightening, ain't it?
COVID was tough. COVID was really tough.
So what's the recruitment process like? You had this brilliant idea, but how do you get others roped in?
Well, my daughter, for one, she wanted to be a beautician and do nails and stuff, and I was like, no, you've got to do this. So she was kind of told she was doing it. And then I've got specific staff members that I use all the time. It's not a lot of staff members think they can do it. You say, well, okay, I'll take you out and I'll try you, and then the smell hits them and they're like, no, I can't do it. Yeah. Or they take to it and they can do it fine.
Could you
4 of us?
That's quite a small team.
Yeah. No, there's 30 of us all in, but there's 4 of us that could take someone out and run the job.
Could you describe the smell like as best you can for people? Because I've never smelled that type of thing.
I knew you were going to ask that.
It's for all the filthy goths listening, and that's for all the
goths. I would say if you went into the back of a butcher shop.
So I used to work in a butcher's. So
I think it's like rotten meat. It's.
I suppose that's what it is, really.
it's really surprising, because we all, when we die and if we've been lying undiscovered or whatever, we all smell exactly the same. Might not when we're alive, but we do when we've passed. So it's always the same kind of smell.
Can I ask, you got contacted, so could the BBC documentary, could you ask, like, did they get in touch with you, or like what happened with that?
BBC, Channel 5, 4, 2. They
all
contacted us, and I didn't want to do it. I maybe get sporadic phone calls once or twice a year, and I really just didn't want to do it because I felt it was really private for people. And then as we were going on, and I was realising that there was a load of people out there needed help and weren't getting the help, I thought, right, okay, let's put it out there and let people know we exist. And then that's when I met the two girls, Erica Starling Productions, and they were brilliant. And they followed us for 2 or 3 years and then done the documentary. So BBC owns that, so they put it on iPlayer every now and then, but they've took it off YouTube and all that. You only actually see the advertisement for it on YouTube.
Trailers up there, when I found that you had the TV show, I was like, oh, but I better watch this as part of like research, obviously, but just couldn't find anything, and it'd be good to actually catch it.
I've got a link for it somewhere, but I don't. Again,
well, it's no on iPlayer now. No. I tried to see it a bunch of times, but it's just it's usually around about World Cup kind of time, so it wasn't on this year. I don't really watch for it. I maybe get a text message and say, oh, you're on the paper, you're on the telly tonight, and I go, oh my God, not again. That's really the only reason I know when it's coming on again. Do you find you can get a good like influx of business like when that kicks off?
There was one particular woman who phoned, her son had died, he was 21-year-old, and she actually phoned me and said, this was months after the programme, and she phoned and explained that her son had died and she'd watched the programme and she really wanted us to do the job. She didn't want anybody else doing it. So it did impact a lot of people, and then about 500,000 people started to start the business, the same kind of business as well. So there was loads of maybe sat at traffic lights and somebody be shouting, that's you're the last off the telly. I was like, oh my God. Sometimes they still do that. People still recognise us. I think that was about 5 years ago it was on.
I was quite lucky because I didn't realise you had been on telly when I first contacted you. It was you that said that. So well done, Scoops. Basically, so you've been doing this for like how long have you been doing this now?
It's about 15 years, I think. I've been doing it. It's a long time.
It's You want to take a comment now? I've got an interesting one here. You want to take this?
Yes.
It's from Angela Gilley, a wee friend of mine. There we go. It's a long one. Can imagine it's a big responsibility to try to show dignity and respect because at any scene or incident there will be family or friends wanting to go to a scene to where the last resting place was. You never imagined what had been there before. Good on you, Marie.
Thank you, Angela. So a lot of the time the police will advise. So if I get a call from a family member and they say their dad or whoever's passed away, the police advises to get a cleaning team in, then I know it's pretty bad. So our objective is to make that as clean as possible and not to have an impact the family coming in and seeing that, and that's their last vision of their family member. I couldn't stand that. So I don't want that for anybody else. So we kind of make it look as if it was all good, nothing, we take all the gore and all that away, so that they can go in and, or if there's a bad smell, we make sure that's away. Or a lot of the time we'll meet the family member outside and I can say, right, they open the door and I'll say, right, it'll be 5 minutes, and I can advise if I can close the door over and they can go in and get, some of them really need paperwork quickly and stuff like that. Right. So I can go in and see if I can shut the door over and let them into the rest of the house, or I can come out and say, come back in an hour or two and we'll let you in.
I've seen on that American channel that they're like, sometimes like, how do I say the word? Sometimes some of the seepage, I hate to say that word, it's a horrible word for everybody, but gets into like floorboard and stuff, so you're having to like wake up floorboards and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you got somebody like on site like a...
Yeah, I've got a plumber, Gary, who does all our plumbing work, because a lot of there might be blood down paths and things like and we've got joiners on call as well. So what they do is we clean it up as best as possible for them. They come and cut the contaminated floorboard out. We then go back when it's cut out, dispose of that, and then they lay a new floor. Concrete's really hard if it's not kind of sealed because the blood just keeps seeping in. So try to get that out as near as possible. So you get out as much as you can, and then you've got to seal it all.
Right.
Yeah. I can imagine it could be like quite harrowing, some of the stuff you come across. And if you're not used to it, I can imagine it having a huge impact, because my partner and his dad run a trades company, and they got called out to a flat to kind of redo the flat, and the guy had died in the flat. So he died on his couch, and his cat had started eating him. And, you know, my partner and his dad never saw kind of any of that side of it, but they knew about it, and then they could see where things had happened. Yeah. And they were both really taken aback by it. I mean, they're both anyway, but they were both. But
it's really hard when, especially if you can. That's what we try. We do. What we try to do is we try to make the property or whatever it is that you can't tell where it happened. So you can go in there and go, oh, you just go on, mate. You don't say, right, well, I can't see. They go in and say, I can't see anything. So they just focus on moving on instead of seeing where it happened and focusing on that. So we try and take that all away. And it might sound crazy, but we kind of talk away to them when we're doing it, like move on, and that's us cleaned you up and go and get your wee family and rest in peace and all of that, you know. Like, but it's some you get. I don't want to say you get used to it, because they're all the same, but they're all different at the same time. But they all still, you take them all in. You don't, they don't ever leave you in any way. So you get. There's a lot. Like, I know I put TikTok videos on, but that's only a fraction of the work that I feel that I can put on. There's a lot that I would never even imagine to put on that we do for respect to families and just that they've been so sad that I wouldn't want anybody looking at it. Bad enough for us to look at. I don't want any other people seeing it.
Well, you want to hear a look at a wee clip? We'll go into your TikTok. There's your TikTok link there. We'll throw this up here. That's probably seen there, right? So if we can get a wee bit of running commentary from you, Marie.
That
should be playing there. So is that hair? Is that hair at the side?
So it's a mixture of hair and skin, to be honest, and like kind of body fat all in the one.
Right.
I think the way that it's positioned is maybe the way they've been taking the body out of the bath. That's why it's come down at the side. You've got to clear the floor first, because obviously there was stuff on the floor. See, so we've got to clear all that, lift that vinyl so that we're not standing in that while we're doing the bath. So you kind of, that skin on the side of the bath. I think that there is the way the body's actually been, but the way they've been taking it out, it's kind of smeared it a bit. I don't know. Right. That's all maggot carcass.
Right,
so
right.
They would have. So they would have been maggots that went into that wee carcass, and then that's when they turn into the flies. However, right. I think it's been so cold that they've not actually got to the fly stage.
I was thinking that was it foo flies when you? I think it wasn't foo flies when you went in.
No. There was some, but not as many as you would think with the amount of carcass in the bath. But the weather has a lot to do with that as well.
Oh, sorry about that. It's went off again. Right. We'll skip what I'll do. There you go. Right. Cool.
Right, that's here. And sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I was actually doing that as well. So that's a mixture of maggot, skin, hair, body fluid, all just consumed into one.
It's a bit rough. Wow.
I just like you get a kind of a lot of negative comments like, why are you doing this? And it's I feel people need to kind of know, or not that they need to know, but there's a lot of people interested out there. A lot of people just think you die, undertakers come and get you, you get married, and that's that. There's a story to every single person, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it does a lot of myth busting and opens up the
We'll
conversation
come off and I'll get back on this.
around, around death and the process of death. And I think it's still one of the subjects in our society that's really taboo.
Yeah.
Like, we're allowed to talk about anything and everything else on the internet and pubs, but when it's death, it's very much like hush hush still. And I mean, I'm quite fortunate that I grew up in a family and that we talk about everything all the time. Like, and I'm quite lucky in the sense that when we've ever had family members pass away, we were allowed to ask questions. We were allowed to go and view the body if we wanted to view the body, and there was none of this. Oh, they've went away somewhere. It was like they've died.
Yes,
and I think that was really important for us as because I've got 3 brothers, and I think it was really important for us as kids growing up that we knew there was a final kind of moment, and that we now take that really seriously, and that it's about respect, and it's about showing love till that very end point, and then post that point. Yeah,
I've been able to say goodbye as well. My kids are very aware of what I do. All of my kids, and my 12-year-old, he's quite interested in it all. He'll look at some stuff. There's other stuff I don't let him look at. But they're more like, they ask how was I? How did we get on? And oh, that's a shame, Mum, for the person,
Yeah.
So, and we can go out a drive in the car, and the kids can point out to me kind of houses where they think there's a hoarder lives in it now, because I'll go, I wonder if I should put a wee. There's houses that I'll drive past a lot, and I'll see a lot, and I just think, oh God, I could help you. And then I'll say to kids, I wonder if I should put a wee card through the door with a wee note. We can help you. You just can't. I just don't.
Yeah.
But they'll say, not in a disrespectful way. It's, the kids will say, "Oh, Mum, look, that's the house."
Yeah.
But not being disrespectful, just knowing that we can help.
Yeah. Yeah, just being observant and being willing to offer kindness. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a question though. After some of the videos I watched on your TikTok, I've got quite a strong stomach, so I'm all about like the pimple popping and all, like nothing, like even the stuff in your videos. See, there was nothing that made me go, oh. Is there anything that gives you the ick? Is there anything that you're like, I'm going to get so and so to do that?
Yeah. So the maggot carcass, if you stand on them and they crack, I can't. Oh, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I can do a fridge, like if there's been a fridge and you open it, oh my God, I can do that. One of my colleagues can't. I can clean feces, but I hate sick.
Right.
So, the mask we wear, that you don't smell anything with the masks, but you still know what you're doing. So yeah. Sometimes I'm in mid-scene, and I'm actually thinking to myself, oh my God, I must have been sent for to do this job, because I don't know how I can do this. I was picked to do this, because sometimes it's like, oh my God, you're scraping people off a floor and stuff, and a bath. So I've asked myself that question a few times, but I can't answer it. I just do it.
Is there anything you've refused? Sorry, Stephen, I'm getting totally into this. Is there anything that you've refused, or like you think that's too far for us?
I don't think I would refuse any job, just for the sheer fact that I know I'm compassionate with it. I know that I'm, I do it right, and I don't know if I would want to. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't refuse any.
That's brilliant.
Refusing any, no, but I've definitely not.
That's brilliant.
I've done my first one recently, and I knew it was always going to happen. That it was somebody that I knew.
Right.
I was just going to ask that. Aye.
And after I said I would do it, I was like, oh no. And I was like, well, you just need to do it. Like, I wouldn't want anybody else doing it anyway. And it was fine. And again, I was just talking away and just done it. And then I was actually saying, it's funny how we all smell the same. We're dead, eh? So that was very recent. So, and for 15 years, I hadn't done that. But I just knew that one day it would come up.
Yeah.
I've not done any children, thankfully. But again, if that happened, then I would probably do it.
I think you're so sort of well trained at this point, and like you could probably get through most things anyway, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Even if you've done since you've done somebody you know, are you done like family members and stuff like that, or you're not allowed to do that?
No, it wasn't family members. No, I don't think there's any law out there that says you can't do family members.
Right.
No, I don't think there's any kind of rules out there, but if that
I
was
just assumed people wouldn't want to sort of thing, family members and stuff. I just assumed that it would be like.
I think I would want. I think if it was a family member, I would do it because I know I could cope with it, and I wouldn't want my other family members not being able to cope with it. There's a couple of comments, excuse me, on the TikToks where one girl talks about. I'm sure, don't quote me, it was a family member had hung themselves and they had to clean it up.
Right.
And when I was reading the comments, I thought that is so sad. That's horrible. That you know.
See, I think I would want to do it if it was my family members. Like I feel like whenever there has been death in my family, I've always kind of been the first one on the scene to help, and organise stuff and deal with stuff. And, even when the undertakers arrived and stuff, I was the one, like, this is this and blah, blah, blah. So I think there's something for me in my head where I go, I want to be the person who helps look after them even in that moment. But then in reality, I might get there and go, not for me. I can't. So, but yeah, I get that emotional pull to want to be there and do it.
I get that, understand that, but I wouldn't because it's. I don't know. You just wouldn't want to block the, like that memory of that person looking like that when you're so used to the way they look. When they're alive, even if they died normally and hadn't started to decompose or anything, it would never leave you.
No.
Unfortunately, the opposite of you two guys, I would have to book somebody in. I have maybe the weakest stomach ever. I have a story of my mum one day. She came through with a piece of chicken breast, and I think I told you this the last time, Marie. She came through a piece of chicken breast. She was sniffing it, and she goes, "Is this off?" And put it in front of me, and I went, blah, blah, just immediately. And any time even thinking of the story just gets my it's the thought of a story makes me feel sick. So, it's just unfortunate. It's not happening for me.
But see, it's funny for me as well because I could never work in an old folks home or anything because. Anybody that's alive, like, there's no way I could change their pads or anything like that.
I got asked to do that when I was doing youth work as well because they just assumed that if you're doing youth work, it's kind of like you're looking after just older people, basically. I was like, and I told them the chicken story.
I can't do it.
Then life ruined, basically.
I can. Just the thought of cleaning somebody's. An adult's nappy, just.
I've got a pal that works in care, and she absolutely loves it, and she's so good at her job, and she's one of those people that you're just like in awe of because they're so good at what they do.
Exactly.
But bogies, she can't deal with bogies. Like she will do everything else for anybody else, but see when she has to wipe somebody's nose, she can't do it. And it's so funny because I'm like.
Aye.
I can't get my head around that. I'm like, give me bogies every day of the week. Like,
It's weird, eh? I even struggle if somebody's kid that I don't know is happy. I'm like, oh no.
Some of that's brutal as well, by the way. Some of them are
my
brutal.
face that's close to a decomposed body fluids. It's nuts.
Okay.
Have you ever had any big frights? Because I think a lot of the conception around death scenes is that, you know, for those who believe there's spirits and energy and ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
And Scoobs and I talk about ghosts and stuff a lot. But like, I'm a huge believer in that the energy lingers and continues lingering.
100%, me too.
And I just wonder if you've had any big frights that you can explain or no explain or...
Never had any frights as such. I do remember going to one on my own. And it wasn't... So there's a thing with clocks. Not on every job, but it does happen on most of them. So, and I picked up on it one time. I'd just finished a job and it was like a pendulum clock. And all of a sudden I could hear this pendulum going and I was like, I never heard that when I come in here. And I says to my colleague, did you? She's like, no. And I was like, that's really weird. So I looked at the time and the clock was ticking and I thought, and then I pondered on it and I kind of went onto Google and was saying on Google that in the Victorian times, that's how they would be able to tell the time of death because the clocks would stop and things like that. So I started watching out for it. And we did start seeing on some jobs, but not others, that the clock would be stopped or it would be at a completely, like maybe 10 to 10. And then we'd finish the job and it would be like 9:30 or it would be ticking. So I remember we kept watching out for that. And I remember going to a job. We were really, really busy. And everybody else was out doing other jobs. So I had to go to this job. And it was really quite bad. And I just got on with it. But I hadn't even finished and I could hear a clock starting to tick. And I was like, oh my God. It was like, just leave, go. It must be fun. Look, follow the light. Leave and just go for the light. Just go. And I went to get my fortune told one time and I went in and I sat down, the guy went, whoa. He was like, I've never seen so many people here. And I was saying to myself, it's my job, it's my job, it's my job. And he was like, there's literally hundreds here. I'm going to shout out names and if you can't pick up on any of the names, I'm going to just tell them to beat it. And it was about 10, 15 minutes. I went, right, I'm at a bit now where... And he said, all I can see is empty wardrobes and black bags. And I was like, it's my job. And he says, you must be letting them in. They must be just following you around the place everywhere. And I was like, no wonder I feel so mad.
I didn't get me too happy with like all these like just following me about all the time.
That's what I'm saying. No wonder I'm so
No.
Most of them are peaceful, Stephen. It's all right.
Aye. I always say, always say rest in peace and, you know, and move on if you can. Like, that's you. We've cleaned up now and that's the process all going to start now. So just go find your family kind of thing. Every single time I do it. Because I believe that they're probably still looking down going, what the fuck? You know? I
wonder if they're watching Ukraine and going, oh, I couldn't do that.
Hen, how'd you do that? Thanks.
Sorry about the mess. Sorry about that. Just like, I could have cleaned the fridge or something like
that. That's great. I feel better now.
Or maybe embarrassed that they've left.
My biscuits.
Aye, well, that's what I'm saying. Aye, Marriage teas, get them. Aye, Right, I'm going to take a comment for Angela and I'm going to ask you about a story, Marie. Okay. I've lost Rachel for a second there. Okay, right. I used to clean years ago and the lady's son had passed away in the home. She had put a plant pot over where his blood was. I totally understand why she didn't clean it. She said, that's my son's blood, and she said she could never leave her home. It would be like leaving him. Listening to me is heartwarming. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Right, I've thought of that as well. If God forbid anything happened to my kids, I don't think I would ever leave the house or the place or. So I totally get that. I totally get it. It's like there's another story where a woman whose son had died, and she was distraught. Obviously, she was devastated. She was fine. She was calm. And as soon as we started moving, he died in the bed. And as soon as we started taking the bed out of the house, she just lost it. She just totally lost it. And I was like, right, stop, back in. And I was out just trying to comfort her. And she was like, well, I thought I could be here. I can't be here. But she knew I had to go. And we got the bed away, and I just sat in the room with her for hours, just talking about his life, talking about him, just letting her calm down. And I thought, and I just felt so sorry for her. She was saying it was like, that was like, the bed going was like, that was her. She knew she had to let go then. And she thought she was ready, and she really wasn't. So I can totally get why that woman done that.
I was going to say, do you get like a request fairly often, like if like people want to help you, like with their families, sort of like scenes and stuff like that? Do you ever get in, or would you even let them do that? Or
I don't think I would, to be honest. No. It's like Rachel saying that she thinks she would want to do that. It's too harrowing for people, family members. It really is. It's harrowing enough for me, and I don't know the person. I always like to see a wee picture of the people, right enough. I always look for a wee picture. Don't scurry about the houses they're in, but I look. But no. And nobody's ever asked me that.
Right.
To be honest, nobody's. Some people that want to be there in the property when I'm in the property. But I always kind of, and they think they want to be there, but then I always say to them when I get there, let me have a wee look first. Just stay right here and I'll be totally honest with you. Yes or no.
So just before we came on the air, you told us you had a wee story about a dog.
Oh no.
Are you able to relay this? Or
So we got a call one day from the police. Sometimes the police will phone us to go and do jobs.
I was thinking, I thought that'd be like most of your sort of work would come from that.
No, it's not. But we do get the occasional call from them. But anyway, I had to go and lift a dog that had died that was lying next to its owner, because undertakers couldn't take the body until we took the dog. And it was two policemen. One was really young, and they need to not stand over you, but they need to stand beside you while you're doing it. It's just the law. And excuse me, I'd say to him, move over a bit, because I didn't really want him watching what I was doing, because I had to get this dog into this plastic box. So it's like a yellow biohazard box, and you've got a lid that seals when you shut it. It snaps like that, like a sharp's box, they snap shut. So this is the same. So I'd say my daughter was there, and when I got it in, that was enough for her. She went out. She's like, Mum, I can't watch you doing the rest. So that was fine. So I says, can you turn away at least while I'm getting the lid on this? And he was like, no, it's started to be Sarah. And I was like, okay. So got the dog in. You can imagine me getting the dog in. And I got the lid, and I was bending down to shut the lid. I didn't plan it. I didn't nothing. I just went, ruff! And he jumped on his skin and ran out of the house.
I would tell you, Marie.
I was standing, all suit, mask, holding this wee dog, going, oh my God, how can I go here?
Oh, man.
I'm looking at the wee woman and I'm going, why did I do that? your dog. Why does it have to do that? And then when I came out, it was the other policeman was doubled over because the guy was all sorts of green and everything, and he must have run out the dog
Brilliant.
Again, that was no disrespect to them. That was just me as a character, I suppose. I just done it. I didn't mean it.
You also have a story which Rachel didn't get in full. We've had this story before. I would love for Rachel to hear the story. Was it Saughton Prison?
Oh,
you remember this one? This is my favourite story of all. So love it.
So Tracy's actually it was me and Tracy, and it was a dirty protest, and I mean it was just everywhere, floor, ceiling, walls, everywhere. So unknown to us at the time when we first started, the actual prisoner who'd done it was in the cell next to us. I remember us been going for a wee while, Tracy. He's shouting, how he's getting on. We're going, I know, bad. And he's saying, I'm making you a fortune, eh? And I'm going, it's a fortune. He says, you're making a fortune for this? And I says, oh, no. He says, I've started this one too to get you more money. And I says, do me a favour. I says, do it hand high. None of this fucking shit on the ceiling. Do it hard to clean. I said, just do it hand high for us if you must do it. And sure as God, a month later, he goes back. And he's saying that, did you see the wee present I left for you? And you said, aye. He says, I made sure to do a hand tie. That's thanks. He says, what about your wee present? I said, that's lovely. And he'd done a happy face.
That's wild.
And then he's saying, do you want the tunes on? And I'm going, I put the tunes on. And he's playing, I want to play a Marina. So fucking bad. Me chasing laugh.
You're Bruno Mars. You're Bruno Mars now.
Oh my goodness.
That is my favourite thing because the guys obviously looking out for yous, trying to make some more money, and just to leave a smiley face and just magical.
We left that to last so we could just keep looking at his wee smiley face, didn't we?
Near redneck.
I want to jump on it already.
My God, man.
That just shows you from one extreme to the other. Like, what we do, you know.
That's it. So what's your plans for future, Marie? You got anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Plans for the future is I quite like doing these, quite enjoy doing these. Any feedback, obviously, I don't know, we'll take that on board, but just carry on doing as we're doing. And if anybody out there who is listening and is in a position, like a holding position or anything like that, and do want help, please contact us. Really pick up the phone. Because like us three are sitting chatting and out, that's exactly what we're like when we're in somebody's house. It's going, we chat, we put the music on, we sing, we either get them involved ways or we don't. You know, it's like you're treated like a human being. Not treated as somebody that's filthy or you're treated just like a normal person. That's what a lot of people don't. They think that's, well, a lot of people do treat people like that, but we don't. So,
Angela left us a wee comment there that you'll love this. Lovely. Obviously, I just heard that story, so that's good. Thank you, Angela. Aye, so I was just going to ask a question that's completely went out my head there. Oh, you asked for a suggestion. I think I'll give you the same suggestion.
Sorry. I can't even hear you for the dog now. That's Postman.
So you asked for a suggestion. I think you should start a podcast, Marie.
I wouldn't even know how.
Well, I mean, it's a bit difficult. You're a bit further away, but if you need any help, I could do loads of stuff with this. It'll be great. I'd love to hear you start off a podcast at some point.
Yeah.
But what
I'd love to. We're talking about like have a podcast where it's myself and Undertaker.
Well, that's it.
I
think what I'll do is the last time we're like fully doing the podcast weekly and stuff like that. I love actually doing these video podcasts. People get to see how animated I am with my hand movements and shit.
Me too. Oh my God.
So what we done? We done a thing called Science Month. We had like a bunch of different scientists for different areas of work for all over the world. And at the end of that Science Month, we decided to contact them all again and offer them to come on the channel all at the same time, and we'll just let them chat to each other, see what things they can come up with. So it ended up we had like a virologist for, I think it was Washington DC. There was a marine, a biologist for somebody else in America, and there was a guy for Amsterdam that works on like bomb disposal stuff and a lot of stuff with bees and helping like he basically gets bees to help with bomb like disarming bombs and stuff like that. So we've got them all together, just let them chat. So I think what we'll do is I talked about the death process thing. We'd maybe get like Rachel suggested getting somebody for like a care home to come on and talk about that process. Yeah. What happens there, and then talk to like a policeman or something like that, what process they would go through. Yeah. Get you on, do like a whole month things. And then just give you guys the platform. You get up to like 12 people in here. Yeah. And just let you talk it out. See what you can come up with.
Because I see what I'm going into, and then so I think like the poor policeman who's broke down that door to find the person, what kind of condition the person that they're seeing, and then a lot of like I think like excuse me, last week we done one. And there was like the shroud, like and still in the bag that the Undertakers had left. And I thought, I wonder if they brought two in, or I wonder if they couldn't even put the body in a shroud. You know, like I was like, how's that left? And then sometimes I'll find like nails or teeth, or sometimes I've had like a full hand before where. Oof. Obviously, I've been lifting the body that's come off. There's loads of questions there as well that I've got loads of questions for them all.
I think it'll be good, honestly, really? Just to sort of go through that whole process, get everybody on separate podcasts, and then just hearing what questions, because the science thing done wonders for me, because I was just listening to like really, really smart people just come up with questions I would never have thought of before. And just to hear all you guys just sort of yapping away would be fantastic. So
really interesting.
Rachel, just shut up in the background. We'll just let you go. Perfect. So I'll put your TikTok up again. So if you want to go and check Maria on TikTok, some of the scenes, you obviously cover some of like the biohazard stuff, and it's not just sort of death scenes and all that kind of stuff.
No.
There you go. So Marie MDT71 on TikTok. Do you have anything you want to bring up, Rachel, before we go?
Just thank you. Thanks so much for having time for us, and thank you for all the work you do. I know like it feels really reassuring to hear that there are people out there like you, Marie, who can do it practically, but also who are willing and who are kind enough to. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm assuming this is in relation to you, Rachel.
Oh, it's my mum.
Thank you, Rachel's mum.
Awesome. Well, what a way to end talking to Rachel's mum there. Perfect. I think we're finished.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
If you have anything you want to bring up, Marie, before we go, you cool?
No, I just keep following us and keep we'll keep putting stuff on.
Awesome. Perfect.
And any questions is what you ask, don't feel free just to get in touch.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all, Marie. We'll happily have you again. We'll have you on many times.
Perfect.
There you go. There's awesome. Right, perfect. We'll end there. Thank you very much, Marie. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rachel.
Thank you,
Maria.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye. Bye.